Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Review All the Things, which is really becoming maybe Install All the Things. Today I'm out in my 2018 F150 and I'm going to install a factory trailer brake controller and then use Forscan to enable it. So I will take you through that process, and this is on a Lariat, so there's a couple extra steps, but nothing major. So you're going to start with taking down. Let me turn this camera. So the first thing you're going to do is take down the under dash pad panel, and this should be the same on everything. It's just held in with clips, so you can get your hand behind here and just pop it loose, or pop it loose on this side, and then it folds down out of the way. And then what you're going to have is a knee brace crash guard right here, which is held in by, here, I'll show it to you. It goes right in here. You get the picture. And it's held in by four 10mm bolts, 1, 2, and then 2 on the bottom. You take those out, tilt it down, pull it up out of the slots, get that out of your way. And then the next thing we're going to work on is taking the radio trim off, or just pulling it forward so that we can get this side of the trim panel off, because the brake controller goes right in here. So you have to take this cubby out, and then there's a actual plug for the trailer brake controller plugged into the back of the cubby. So we're going to take the cubby out, we'll put the controller in its place and then plug it in, and then we'll enable everything with Forscan. So on the center console, you just need to pull this side panel back a little bit. As you can see there, kind of overlaps, and that'll help you get this the side trim piece off, because again we're putting the brake controller in here. I just flipped the knee dash pad back up for a minute to get it out of the way. The only reason you really need this is to reach behind and unplug the plug that's in the cubby, but you could probably also do it if you just pull this trim piece forward. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this center tray out, and you can simply just pull up on it, but it makes it a little easier if you have a wide flat trim panel tool or something that you can stick in here just to pop it up. Don't use anything too skinny, because then you'll end up gouging the radio trim, and you don't want to do that. So the rig I just pulled up on it, put the trim panel tool in, and then we're just gonna pop the release tabs. A little stiff. You can see, got them right there across the front. Now you don't have to take this all the way out unless you really want to. There's 2 7mm bolts right here that all we need to do is take those out so that we can take the trim panel, the radio trim panel, off. Okay, so I've taken the surround off. I took the 2 connectors off for the audio and HVAC controls, just so I can flip this up out of my way. If you have the center console, you have this other trim piece right here that has to come out because it's blocking your ability to take the side vent off. So again, there's 2 7mm bolts that you're going to take out, and we'll get that out. Got that trim piece out of the way. Okay, so the next thing that you'll have to do once you get your radio trim out of the way. In order to get this piece out, if you have a center console, you have to take this trim panel off, and it's pretty easy. Everything is held in with clips. Just grab it from the back, pop it up. You can see it's held in by clips, and then you have to get it around the shifter, and in order to do that, I just put it in neutral and work it out. And then there's clips, you can see them down there. You have to pull it up from the back and then towards you. And don't be afraid to wiggle it a little bit to be able to get that out, because that is blocking you from getting this piece out. So I'm gonna throw the truck in neutral, I'm gonna take this out, put it to the side, and then I'll bring you back. So before we take this trim panel out, we have to go down behind this cubby and disconnect the, fingers in the way, disconnect the electrical connector that is holding in, that's in the back of the cubby that you're gonna need to plug into the trailer brake controller. And that's the reason why we first took the knee dash panel down, because you got to reach in behind, and I already disconnected it, but there it is. I don't know if we can get in there and you can see it. It plugs in right there behind the cubby, and this just has a lock tab on the bottom. Push it in and pull it out, and then we can take our trim panel off and go get our brake controller and put that in. Again, this is just held in with clips, nothing to unbolt. So then we have our panel out. Now again, and we're just going to disconnect it for now. Depending on what model you have, you're going to have your 4-wheel drive switch, and then if you have the Pro backup assist, you'll disconnect that connector and leave that out of the way. And then we'll be putting our brake controller right here where this cubby goes. So that just pulls right out. And then we're going to take our brake controller, feed our wire through, we're going to plug it in, pop the brake controller in, and then reverse the assembly, and then we'll break out Forscan and set up the options so the truck recognizes that we've installed it. Okay everyone, so we got our Ford OEM trailer brake controller. Here's the part number for my 2018 F150. You could get these on Amazon, and there's a bunch of like Chinese made ones, but I want the real thing, so I ordered it from a Ford dealer online, which you can search for yourselves, and there's plenty of them out there. So we got the Ford original factory part. I'm going to plug it in. There you go. So now she's installed, and we're just going to reverse the procedure to put everything back together. So we're going to start with our side trim panel. Remember to plug your switches back in. Okay, so we got the console trim slid back into place. For me, it was a little easier to unclip this bottom part on, re-unclip this, and then guide this into this panel. For some reason on the passenger side, I was able to get it in without worrying about this, but it wouldn't go in, so I just unbolted this a little bit, wiggled it in, and now I'll just push everything back in as one piece. So before we took down this trim panel, we just have to pop this back in place. So now the last thing we need to do is put the knee crash guard back in. Again, we just fold this back down, and it's going to go right in here with the 4 10mm bolts we took out. Simply fold this back up. And that's it. So now we're just going to get Forscan set up, and we're going to enable what we need to enable to make sure the truck sees the new trailer brake controller. Okay, welcome back everybody. So we've got Forscan loaded up here, and we're going to make the changes necessary to enable the trailer brake controller that we just installed. So on a 2018 F150, we're going to be looking for the IPC, and we're going to go into module configuration for the IPC. And then we're going to run it. And then we can either filter it, or we can just scroll. We got to get to trailer brake controller, so we got to go all the way down to the T's. There's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, so we need to enable trailer brake control module. As you can see, it's disabled, and then trailer brake gain settings, we need to enable that as well. We also have one for trailer brake module that's disabled, so I'm just going to enable that one as well. I don't know that you have to. And then we're going to write it. Looks like I missed. And now, I can tell you as soon as I did that, let's turn this off. I don't know if you, I'm going to take you off of here so you can see. I now have, you can see it here, the plus and the minus are now lit up, where before I enabled it, those weren't lit up. So that's all you need to do to enable the trailer brake controller that you've installed.